Welcome to this digital presentation, the Universal Wellbeing Evaluation Tool, a transformative learning experience. This digital film was prepared for the 11th European Conference on Positive Psychology, being held in July 2026 in Dublin, Ireland. My name is Susan Stevenson and I'm the Director of the Freedom, Wellbeing and New Zealand Curriculum Design Research Institutes. We are based in New Zealand but work globally. The Universal Wellbeing Evaluation Tool was created and trialled post the publication of the Universal Wellbeing Model in 2023. It is a comprehensive, evidence-based, multidisciplinary and authentically holistic quantitative self-assessment. The tool is capable of identifying an individual's overall universal well-being level and profile. It can also identify the status of each of the 70 determinants of universal well-being. It will also calculate scores for the social, physical, intellectual, ethnic, cultural, emotional, and spiritual dimensions within the universal well-being model. It can also identify the impact on well-being of home, work, and/or study environments. And finally, the Universal Wellbeing Evaluation Tool creates a risk calculation for each person and can identify things like suicidal ideation or the lack of safety of the respondent answering the questionnaire. The Universal Wellbeing Evaluation Tool is always administered by professionally accredited Universal Wellbeing Evaluation Tool facilitators. These facilitators use positive educational psychology approaches to empower the respondents they work with to identify, first of all, their strengths and capabilities, determinants that are not influencing their universal well-being, and also those that could be or are harming their overall universal well-being. The facilitators administer, analyse and report orally and in writing the outcomes of the Universal Wellbeing Evaluation Tool, and they can do this with individuals, families, teams, organisations and communities. The facilitators use powerful strategies that optimise and accelerate the acquisition of personally relevant and meaningful universal well-being literacy understandings and facilitate behaviour changes. The objective of the research underpinning the Universal Wellbeing Evaluation Tool was to identify an evidence-based well-being definition, model, practices, and measurement. All of these needed to be capable of supporting understandings and measurable improvements in well-being as they occurred. The Universal Wellbeing Evaluation Tool specifically helps us understand attendance, retention, and educational achievement, plus other equity outcomes in higher education and other settings. The research questions that we pursued were, over the 16 years, what is well-being? How is well-being influenced? How can well-being be measured? And how can well-being be improved and maintained over time? We have used a range of diverse methods to come to the understandings and findings that we have today. They've included themed literature reviews, meta-theory reviews, use-inspired practice research, quantitative, qualitative, mixed method, impact evaluation, grounded theory, and now we are especially focused on intervention investigations, which employ the Universal Wellbeing Evaluation Tool. This is an image of the whole universal well-being model. Results coming from our research have included lay and researcher universal well-being definitions, the determinants of universal well-being and the evidence base supporting each of the 70 determinants, the universal well-being model, and the universal well-being evaluation tool. This is multidisciplinary and authentically holistic in its base. The tool is used with individuals, families, teams, organisations, and communities today. Also emerging has been a strong theory of change. Building on research since 2020, the research team has identified key drivers of poor well-being and its many associated consequences as being a lack of clarity about what well-being is, limited evidence-based information about what influences well-being, insufficient understandings of how universal well-being can be changed, and also information about how we can improve our universal well-being and maintain it over time. So this has been the position most people are in when we commence working with them and using one of the interventions and the Universal Wellbeing Evaluation Tool. The theory of change incorporates three key elements. First of all, it involves the provision of personally relevant, transformative, and powerful applied learning about universal well-being and a respondent's own universal well-being profile. We have also identified a key element as recognition of survival-related well-being needs and the need to understand that people with these survival-related well-being needs, these will take priority over all other needs and life demands. And until they are addressed, academic success and other challenges in their life will not be met. And finally, as people move through the process of developing universal well-being, they develop empathy not only for their own well-being, but also for their impact on others. And this leads to the development of what we call formal operations and the enactment of empathy. And this is developed through progressively scaffolded learning. This slide shows the 10 steps that are progressively moved through during our change processes and that result from the development of universal wellbeing literacy. In conclusion, the Universal Wellbeing Evaluation Tool is private, confidential and secure. It's digitised so it can be used with large numbers of people. It's suitable for people over 8 years of age. It's constantly being researched. It facilitates as a standalone tool universal wellbeing literacy. It supports behaviour change, researchers, practitioners. It can also produce individual and group data summaries, and it's always professionally analysed and reported. Currently, the Universal Wellbeing Evaluation Tool is being used in a range of diverse settings and for diverse purposes. Perhaps it's most significant to end this presentation by saying that our current intervention investigations are demonstrating that universal wellbeing literacy can increase program completion rates of students by between 30 and 45% on a consistent basis. I'd like to now extend to you an invitation to make contact if you'd like to experience the evaluation, use it in research, or with clients. Thank you for your time here today.